Welcome to take 3 of this beer review. You know it's take 3 because I already got a beer out. Luckily, it's a very light beer. This afternoon's beer review is the Wellenreiter from Aloha Beer Company. And, well, my audio is acting up. My entire computer's acting up. I've been having some technical issues with my graphics card lately, which is, why I have a beer already kind of poured out, because I went and finished a review and then realized that there was something very wrong with the audio here. So I'm actually going to top this beer off and start over. So, Wellenreiter from Aloha Beer Company. It's 3.8 ABV. It's a Berliner Weisse. And as you know, I love sours. And the nice thing about sours is I can go and screw up and actually, you know, have a third take on a beer review and still be somewhat coherent. So, let's top this off, shall we, and give it another start here. Now, Berliner Weisses usually have fruit syrup added in their traditional serving form, and at the brew pub, this has a Tangelo house syrup added to it. That being said, I'm at home right now. Just had a growler fill, and so I'm going to be drinking it straight. Excuse me. And as you can see, nice light yellow, which is to style, with a thick, fluffy white head. Which really lasts. As you kind of saw, I still had head left. This is like about 15-20 minutes in after original pour. Nicely carbonated. Right now it's not giving it enough credit. It was very carbonated when I first cracked open the growler until the technical difficulties. And let's go back to the nose. Big minerality. Lots of wheaten aspects, wheat funk, citric acid bite, but really what stands out here is the strong minerality. It almost is more like a Goza in that respect rather than a Berliner Weisse. Fronts to mids has a nice carbonation bite that by the time it gets to this warm subsides quite a bit. And there's a very noticeable but not overwhelming citric sourness from the front all the way into the finish, and then a very strong and very nice bready to crackery finish that lasts. It's very pleasant. Well, to me it is, at least. Why? Because it's not very often that you go and find super light beers that have a lasting malt finish. There's not much left in here. There's 3.8 ABV. The style is a very light style, and it fits with that. What strikes me is also the very mineral edge. I swear to God it is more like a Goza than a Berliner Weisse because I almost taste salt in there. The sourness is not overwhelming at all. I would definitely describe this as something that's trying to go after the old world style Berliner Weisse rather than the New World style, in that New World style tends to go and amp up that citric sourness, you know, to 11 on the sour level, whereas Old World style Berliner Weisse is much more balanced in between the wheat malt and the citric sourness from the lactobacilli. This is pleasantly drinkable, straight, it's a great introduction to the Berliner Weisse style that won't nuke the taste buds off of a sour newbie. The only real drawback, though, for this one, as it warms up, the wateriness becomes just a little bit too much. And that may be why you might want to go and add syrup to it, give it that shandy-ish thing. You know, go and oomph the body up a little bit. Because as it is, it's quite light. Very, very light. Despite the sourness, there's still a slight hint of sweetness to it. Obviously, adding the fruit syrup would go and amp that up, and it would also be, I don't know, I think I'd like this straight, but as you notice, it's kind of a cold, well, you can't really see it because the light from here overwhelms it. It's a cold, windy, overcast day in Hawaii. This really isn't the kind of beer to be drinking in this kind of weather, so I'm probably thinking that if it was a hot day and I'd come in from, you know, doing a bunch of yard work, this would hit the spot immediately. You know, something today, I just want a little bit more body maybe. But, you know, kind of situational really, and it kind of goes and shows you how you, how a beer appeals to you can change just with like the weather or how you're feeling or things like that. But to get back to the original point, an excellent example of the Berliner Weisse style, you know, and a great introduction to it to those who are new, because like I said, it's not going to go and nuke your taste buds like some Berliner Weisses will from craft brewers. Give it a shot straight, or give it a shot with some whatever fruit syrup that you got. Make sure it's a good one. Don't you be putting like some fake ass saccharin, like chemical stuff in there. Make it a real, actual fruit syrup. So, the Wellenreiter from Aloha Beer Company. That's your beer review for this afternoon, folks. Cheers.